There are some things that make my life as a stay-at-home homeschool mom with a garden and pecan trees and canning and dehydrating and cooking every day and doing laundry and floors and everything else so much easier. I'll share them with you today, starting with the ideas that are free all the way up to the gadgets that cost a little bit of a penny. But let's go. Sheets that I tape inside the cabinet doors. This has stuff that for quick reference, like the yogurt temperature, the cucumber brines, the sauerkraut brines, all things like that that I don't want to drag out some paperwork goes in there. And then we also have one for the harvest log in here because it's easy. You bring the stuff in and you record it. Chalkboard. You have to have a chalkboard somewhere. It's for important announcements, like the junior just lost his gaming privileges for cheating on math. But this one hangs in the kitchen, and I usually put on there things that come to mind that I want to cook up soon. This is the big one. It's the side wall of the pantry shelf, which has got chalkboard paint and painted it. And this is where the going, running, shopping list needs to be updated. We just got a lot of these things. This is so cool. No paperwork laying around. You need to go shopping. You just jot it down from the chalkboard. Cleaning the refrigerator is not on my favorite list. So onions and potatoes, the regular potatoes too, usually they come in some kind of packaging that has holes all over. And then with the potatoes, I end up with this dusty layer on the bottom of the crisper drawer. And onions in particular are bad with the skins. And it's such a mess. So I went out and I purchased these nylon bags. They are usually meant to be for buying bulk stuff. And you use them to substitute them instead of the plastic bags in the produce section. But they work wonderful because they catch the stuff in there, even the dusty stuff. And the crisper drawers are no longer dirty. So when they do get dirty, see, I had a sweet potato go bad on me. You turn them inside out, put them in the washer, they come out just fine. The plastic mason jar lids. I don't see how people live without these. For things you go in and out often, these are so much easier to screw on than the lid and the band. My fridge is full with them. Jars all over the fridge and the handy dandy lids. Oil bottles, vinegar bottles, they all have screw tops. It's so annoying. If I need something really quick, I don't want to go and start screwing and unscrewing. These are where I store my vinegars and oils. You just pour it. They also don't dribble the stuff down the side. Like you have an olive oil bottle, it's always smudgy on the outside because stuff runs down. They sell these with little tops that just pop on. I didn't get mine with tops. I don't think it was fashionable back then. I've had them for a long, long time. So I just fashioned these little aluminum foil hats, and that works to keep any stray nets out if that were necessary. But these guys are awesome, and they look better too. This is my kitchen lifesaver. I went through so many drying racks, you know, with the canning and the big stock pots and all that. It just was always inconvenient. They never worked well. They called self-draining, but they don't drain. They leave a mess. This sheet works amazing. They come in all sizes. It has double duty. Of course, I can still use the top crate as a cooling rack, but it won't fit in my oven because this really is big. But I keep this on for the plates, and the utensils go in the mug. It's also really nice to defrost stuff if you have a hunk of meat. The condensation just drops in the bottom pan, and it's fabulous. It can hold anything. Now we do have the hard water, so it starts getting a little crummy every once in a while, but it wipes right off with some vinegar. Let's talk refrigerator. Up there are my ferments and stuff, but what I want to show you is the Lazy Susans. They are a little squeaky, but these are amazing. I bought one at first, and I'm so in love with them. Everybody can reach stuff. There's no haggling, even the little things, you know, my little jars, the sourdough starter, all this stuff. It's great. This is for our leftovers, so when the kid says, I'm hungry, he can reach it, grab something. Nothing is left in the back anymore. It's not forgotten. These lazy Susans are cool. Tattler lids. How can anyone not like Tattler lids? They're reusable. They have this little rubber gasket that goes on, and you use them and use them and use them. Oh my goodness, all my jars are with Tattlers, unless I run out of those lids. But I did not have to worry one bit during Corona when the lids were sold out. These are great. They have a little bit of a learning curve with them because the adjustment is slightly different, but they're fabulous and they pay for themselves pretty quickly if you can a lot. Refrigerator space is limited. So when there's only a cup left in this big jug and you come home with the new one, you take up a whole lot of room. It just didn't work anymore. So I came and bought the milk jars. How cool. They come in quart size and in half-gallon size. They have lids that fit on interchangeably. I use it for putting tea in, so there's always grab-and-go tea. They're hygienic, they clean out, they're really sturdy, and the milk just looks better in these. Also, when I make buttermilk, I'll just put the starter or the leftover buttermilk on the bottom, top it off with milk, shake it, leave it on the counter, and it's ready to go to be poured. No extra washing of any other containers. These are a must. Cast iron. I'll do almost all of the cooking in cast iron except for things like, you know, noodles. I have a stainless pot for that. But everything that gets fried or stewed or anything, cast iron. Now I admit we may be a little overboard here, but they keep showing up and we keep restoring them. So there's always a perfect size for everything. This one is my favorite. I make a lot of bread in this. And these little ones are really cool too. If you just make 2 or 3 sunny side ups, they make the best eggs. So next time you see some cast iron somewhere, get it, restore it. It's not hard. And use it. It's invaluable stuff. Yep, the indispensable food saver. I've had this for, it's over 10 years and it's still going strong. The only problem I ever had was that it wouldn't suck anymore correctly, so I couldn't get a good vacuum. Took the whole thing apart until at the very end I found out it's the seal. So I replaced the seal, and I think this happens when the lid stays closed. So I no longer, because that lid's kind of heavy, store it closed. I put something in here so it's a little elevated. Haven't had the seal problem since. I use this, of course, with the rolls. We just had the pecan harvest, so I vacuum seal these and freeze. They last for almost 2 years. And I seal meat in that. But what I use it most often for is dried goods. It's Florida, it's humid. You dehydrate something and you put it in a regular jar and it just doesn't seem to stay crisp. So it comes with these attachments for the white mouth and the regular mouth. And you just, you know, it goes in the port over here. And look, you don't even need a band. It really vacuum seals it so well that it's all in there. I mean, I have jars and jars and jars of dehydrated things. This helps so much. Now the only thing is you need power for this. So when the power goes out, there nothing goes. But there comes this little gadget. Now this is a bit cumbersome because it's manual. You actually have to, and it takes about 100 times to vacuum seal a quart jar with it. This is a brake bleeder. You find it in the automotive section. They're not very expensive, but they are really cool to have because this tip goes right in this, and then you can vacuum seal, although it takes longer, but it works. Would not want to live without the vacuum sealer. You probably saw this coming. I wasn't convinced when they first came out because I had a manual pressure cooker. And I rarely used it because I was always a little leery leaving it on the stove without somebody being around it. And I finally bit the bullet and got one, and I would not want to live without it anymore. I mean, I make our own dog food. It just goes in there, it's done. I love that it has a stainless pot for the slow cooker because all the other slow cookers are the porcelain and I never know what's in that. I make a whole lot of broth and can it up, and this just sits overnight and does the job for me. It's wonderful. And the other big bonus is it doesn't heat up the kitchen. You don't want to do anything in Florida that heats up the kitchen. So yes, I'm on the Instant Pot train. And of course my beloved toaster oven. This is still hot. That big cast iron Dutch oven from earlier fits right into it. And I make wonderful bread in there without heating up the whole kitchen with the big oven. Actually, I haven't used the big oven in years. I can really make everything in there. You may have wondered why my toaster oven is a little cruddy looking inside. It doesn't wipe off, not with any best effort, but this is why. It has a rotisserie and I can make rotisserie chicken. Isn't this awesome? The dehydrator, of course. I have jars upon jars upon jars of dehydrated things. I can make a whole vegetable soup from just dehydrated stuff. This helps so much because dehydrating is space saving. When I can things, which of course I still do, like meats and broth and all those, yeah, you need the jars and you need to have a lot of room to store them. And the dehydrated stuff, oh my goodness, it's so simple. Like this is a whole basket full of mushrooms that we found. Fits dehydrated in a jar and I'll tuck it away and it's good. If you do get one, get silicone mats with it. So if you have wet things, like you can take a can of diced tomatoes and you dehydrate them, but then you want to have them on something solid. These are good. They used to have the Teflon ones. I didn't like that. Silicone's the way to go. Everybody needs a dehydrator. The pressure canner. What would I do without the pressure canner? Broth, vegetables, meat. This is an All Americans. It's all cast aluminum. It doesn't need a seal. It's very expensive. I love it. This one fits 14 quart jars at once. It's the bigger size. I sometimes wish I had the smaller size because washing this monstrosity is quite an act, really. I have to do it outside. But it's amazing. You couldn't homestead without this contraption because there's only so much you can do in a water bath canner. Well worth it. And now, drum roll, the bonus. Yes, you want a teepee holder like this because they no longer can stack the new rolls on top and leave the paper roll thing in there. Nope. Now they managed to actually drop it in the wastebasket and just stick a new roll on. This thing has given me so much peace.